You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
The Bounce House has never been an easy place for the Tigers to play, but now they get a week of rest. Tonight on The Ryan Silverfield Show, we also meet Brandon Thomas, the latest member of Running Back U.
The game is on.
The Ryan Silverfield Show is presented by AutoZone. When you've got car trouble, you want help from number one. So if you've got a battery problem, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And by Conway Services, the official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Chick-fil-A, we didn't invent chicken, just the chicken sandwich. RJ Young, technology solutions that power your business. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams.
The trip to the Magic Kingdom wasn't exactly magic. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Willoshin.
And I'm Jarvis Greer. For highlights from the Bounce House, let's go to Cassie Carlson.
News right before the game, starting quarterback Seth Hennigan out with a right shoulder injury, meaning sophomore and LSU transfer Peter Parrish gets his first career start. The Knights start with the ball and they go straight down the field. Mikey Keene looks to the back of the end zone and he connects with Brandon Johnson. UCF on the board first. 7-0 at the end of the first. Knights punting. Calvin Austin back to return. He watches the ball bounce, tries to pick it up, instead fumbles, and it's recovered by the Knights on the 27. They run the jet sweep and quickly make it a two-score game in the first quarter after the rare Calvin Austin mistake. Second quarter, Peter Parrish gives the ball to Brandon Thomas, who's becoming very familiar with the end zone. Touchdown Tigers, 14-7 game. Defense time, and J.J. Russell reading this play perfectly. A massive hit on the UCF receiver, comes up with the big tackle for loss. Russell, one of the leading tacklers in the country, having an outstanding season. But in the third, UCF on the 31, and Ryan O'Keefe gets the pitch, and he comes up with the biggest offensive play of the night, a touchdown that puts UCF up 21-7 as they go on to win 24-7. Keeping cool under pressure, defensive back Tyrez Lindsey, the fifth-year senior, coming up with his first career interception in the end zone to prevent another Knights touchdown. He also added 8 tackles. Time now for Jarvo and Willow with head coach Ryan Silverfield in Orlando.
Coming to the Bounce House is never an easy task. It's even tougher when you're down to a fourth-string quarterback, Coach.
Yeah, look, no excuses, but we were on our fourth-string quarterback, but Peter Parrish battled tonight, and our young men battled tonight, but the end result wasn't good enough, and that starts with me. We got to execute better, and we didn't do our job, and ultimately I've got to find ways to get us to win games and get over the hump. Obviously, turnovers were an issue again tonight, and we'll find ways to get it fixed.
You played well defensively 2 weeks in a row. You held them to 80 yards passing in this particular game, but the physicality of their run game did take its toll.
Yeah, they were able to run the ball for a lot of the game at will, and that we got to find ways to be able to stop the run. They took some shots down the field, and we had some nice plays defense. Our defense, all in all, did a pretty solid job. But we got to be able to play for 4 quarters, right? The opening drives for back-to-back weeks have been concerning. So we just got to find ways to get out there, execute for 4 quarters, continue to get turnovers. It was nice to finally get another interception by Tyrez Lindsey. But all in all, it wasn't a complete game.
Going back to Peter Parrish and the preparation that you had to do had to be whirlwind when you found out that Seth wasn't going to be able to play. How do you integrate him any more into what you're trying to do in this off week, and then how do you try to get Seth back into it?
Yeah, look, Peter was there, battling, understood what he needed to do in his role. That there was a chance that he was going to be the starting quarterback. He got plenty of reps in practice this week. He was great with his mindset, his approach. Worked his tail off to do everything he could to put us in a position to win the game. And so, look, we also, what it did is gave us confidence as a staff that, maybe he's a young man that can go in and play football at a high level for us. And sometimes you were not able to see that. It's hard to see. And during training camp, like we said, going into training camp, he was our fourth-string quarterback. We've had some injuries. We've been banged up. Seth is still our quarterback moving forward, but we've got confidence in Peter. And look, he's as upset as anybody about the way this went down, but nobody can sit out there and say, man, it was all on him. Again, it's ultimately on me, but just pleased with some of what Peter was able to do tonight.
And speaking of the confidence that you showed in him, and he did what he could do out here, the rest of the team, there was no quit in this Tiger group tonight.
Yeah, there was no quit, and I don't think that's the thing you'll ever see. You know, I just got off the press conference and by saying that, yeah, look, if we're 12-0 or 4-4 like we are now, these young men will continue to battle. They love this program. They care about each other too much. They care about these coaches, and vice versa. And so they're going to continue to battle. Well, we're just not getting the results we want, and we got to find a way.
It is the bye week, and that means coaches are out. They are recruiting. And when you're looking at a player and you're a Memphis Tiger coach, you're looking for more than just talent.
When it comes to recruiting, coaches always want the biggest, the fastest, the strongest. But they always add this caveat. It's got to be the right fit. So, Coach, what is your right fit?
You're exactly right. I mean, look, you always look for talent, but first and foremost, it's what fits our culture, what fits the type of program we want to run here at the University of Memphis. So, first and foremost, we look, is it the right type of young man? And when I say that is, what are their characteristics like off the field? So those questions we actually ask the head high school coach of the individual, right? And then you put on the film, because if they're not going to fit what you want to do academically, socially, if they don't have the work ethic, I think that stuff's so important. So we have a set of questions we actually ask coaches when we're recruiting a young man, and if they don't cross that off, right, we ask how many days of school have they missed. Well, if that number's up there at double digits, not a type of young man that would fit here at Memphis, right? Have they gotten any trouble? What are they like? Are they a captain on their team? What's their work? Do they absolutely love football? Because here we talk about the grit and grind of Memphis. You want a young man, a 17 to 18-year-old that's coming to your program, to absolutely love it. And then you do all that and you see, hey, does the tape match the characteristics you want off the field? And then we start to look for a bunch of intangibles based off the position.
You mentioned you talk to the high school coach when you have a guy that you're targeting, you want to go after. What about when somebody says, hey, coach, I got a guy I want you to look at? How do you handle that?
Yeah, well, I think that's important. So we recruit by area and then regionally and then by position. So we may have, like, Coach Bridge has the greater Atlanta area. Now, that's a big area, but he's also our offensive line coach. So he may be recruiting that area. He may find a defensive back. Hey, Coach Clark, the head coach at this high school has recommended this player. Then he'll send it over to Coach Clark, our defensive back coach. No, vice versa, right? If Coach Clark has Southern Mississippi, sees an offensive lineman, he may say, hey, Coach Bridge, this guy came highly recommended, maybe by even somebody else that played against an opponent. So you search far and wide, you try to get as many things as you can. And then when you're starting to research a student athlete, a prospect that fits here at Memphis, right, not only do you want to reach out to the head high school coach, but you want to find out everything about them. Start to know their teachers, their guidance counselor, who else is involved in their life, who's the biggest influence in their life, what drives them, what's their why.
You mentioned captains. I love that because I've heard that before. What's more important, a captain or 40-yard dash time and weightlifting?
Yeah, well, look, the 40-yard dash time and the weightlifting is going to be important. But if you find a guy that runs a 4.55 and he's not a captain, has all these, and Nick Saban has said it, he's got a lot of these ifs and buts. Well, he's smart, but he shows up to work, but. All these buts, what are the buts? Well, sometimes he's lazy. Sometimes he forgets assignments, but he's gotten into trouble off the field. You want the guy that's got an and, right? Oh, he may be a 4.55 and not and have some other issue, and he's also goes to chapel every single day, and he's been head of the president of the student class. Whatever it may be, you want those ones with the ands, not the buts.
And when you get the final thing, I guess, when you finally get them on campus, you know, for the official visit, that's when you get to eyeball them and talk to them face to face.
Yeah, right. There's obviously, we can see so much off of film. It was interesting during the COVID time, right? A lot of our prospects, we didn't get to meet and shake their hand other than virtually until they showed up and checked in their dorms. But that's when you get a chance. And for me and for our staff also, I think it's important to know who they're bringing with them. What's their family like? They're judging us, we're judging them. We're trying to find the best overall fit for the University of Memphis.
Memphis found a star running back out of Arkansas, and his name is Brandon Thomas. He went from a nervous freshman to the featured back. He tells us how after the break.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
Memphis has been tabbed running back you. Tony Pollard, Antonio Gibson, Kenny Gainwell, D'Angelo Williams, the list goes on. And the latest in line is Brandon Thomas.
Off. It's Brandon Thomas to the left side, lowers his head and bowls his way into the end zone for a touchdown. This Memphis offense is humming.
The size, the speed, the way he breaks through tackles. You're not going to arm tackle this kid right here.
How does it feel to be such a big part of this Memphis offense?
I mean, it's amazing to me. It's like an experience you don't really get too often. It's like a huge changed from high school. So I love it.
Brandon Thomas didn't start playing football until 8th grade. Coming out of high school at North Little Rock, he was a 3-star recruit.
Let's start when you first saw Brandon Thomas and what your first impressions were of him.
Unbelievable. He had unbelievable vision and balance and quickness. Then as I got to know him, he just was an unbelievable person. So to me, it was a no-brainer to try to get him to come to the University of Memphis.
When he made that decision, you're elated, you're like running back you, let's just bring in another one?
Absolutely. So I looked at, I think Patrick Taylor was here at the time. I looked at Patrick, I said, hey, we got one just like you, and hopefully he can just keep that tradition going, but he's been unbelievable so far.
Hand off to Thomas underneath, and he powers his way across the 45 out near midfield to be dropped at the 47.
I mean, I was nervous coming into college. Like, I just knew it was gonna be way different from high school. So, like, yeah, I learned pretty quick that everybody good in college.
Why were you nervous?
Because I didn't know what to expect. Like, I'm in high school, like, my name is always at the top in high school, so I ain't really worried because I know everybody know me there. But in college, it's like starting over. So it's work again, and like, don't nobody really know me. Like, don't nobody really know kids out of Arkansas. So that's why it made me nervous.
When you have a freshman, and he said it, he didn't really approach freshman year the right way. He wasn't in the right headspace, kind of was nervous coming in. How do you coach him to take on a big role on a team and in a program that has a history of producing really productive backs?
Well, number one, I had to try to get him not to just think about it so much. Obviously, when you think about Daryl and Tony and Patrick and Kenny and Antonio, those are big shoes to fill. But when he came in as a freshman, though, it was a weird year for him. He had COVID going around, but he's very mature. He actually handled it extremely well. He handled it better than anybody I know would have handled it. And he came back this year a brand new man, so I'm very excited about that.
So how do you go from that to now being the guy?
Last year it was just a struggle. I had a newborn baby, all that. It was just like a struggle. So I just know I don't want to see my daughter struggle, so I had to come back with a different mindset to keep going and make her life easier.
Thomas's daughter, Kaisley, was born in July of 2020.
How did that change your life?
Tremendously. Like, it changed the way I looked at things, like my work effort, everything. So I just got to keep going, and I know I got to keep going for her.
Girl dad?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you?
I mean, like being a girl's dad, I got to be overprotective. Like, I worry about a lot of things she do, like people, everything. So I just know I got to keep my eye on her.
Thomas keeps his daughter in the back of his mind when he plays, hoping to one day make it to the NFL to help provide for her.
Hennigan hands it off to Brandon Thomas. Thomas with a hole on the left side. He's got a big hole and he's got speed to the 30, down to the 25 where he bowls.
He's at the right place. Memphis has a track record of putting backs in the league. 5 Memphis running backs currently on NFL rosters.
How do you get all these running backs to Memphis?
Just great players, great players. They want to come play for a great program. And then I guess success breeds success, so he's just the next one up.
You hear Coach Jones comparing you to guys like Patrick Taylor. He sees some Darrell Henderson in you. They want you to start catching balls out of the backfield like Kenny Gainwell. What does it mean to hear that from your coach?
They know what I need and I know what I need. So like to hear from a coach, it just like I got to get better at these areas, and I could be like one of the best backs to come through here. So it means a lot coming from my coach.
When you talk about RBU and the guys who have come through this program, the Antonio Gibsons, Kenny Gainwell, Patrick Taylor, have they reached out to you?
I had Antonio Gibson say something to me after a game just to boost my confidence. It means a lot coming from like a player like that, like that's been here and done it before me. So like he know what he talking about. So like I need to listen to him, and maybe I could be probably as big as him one day.
What's the ceiling for a guy like him?
Unbelievable. The sky is the limit for him. Truly, it is. I don't know if he realizes how good that he is. I don't think he realizes how good that he can be.
I mean, it means a lot to know like this program is like got the name RBU, and like to have my name mentioned with that, it means a lot to me.
We've talked recruiting, and Coach, you got a gem out of North Little Rock in Brandon Thomas. Talk about this young man.
Yeah, here we are as a redshirt freshman, really in my eyes a true freshman. Didn't really play much, didn't even dress much last year, and he's been phenomenal. He's got that combination of size and speed. If you look at him, he may not be a 4.35 40, but he's that 4.5 type of guy, but he's also compact, built, well muscled up. He likes to run over guys. He'll try to run by him. He's got that rare combination. He's been a pleasant surprise for us in the backfield this year.
As a redshirt freshman coming in, how did you keep him engaged with the program, that year that he did have to sit out and not really play that many games?
Well, that's what it is about a lot of these guys that come in. They all think they should play. They all think they're better than they were, right? In high school, whether they're a 0-star or 5-star, they all come in and say, well, I should be able to come in and compete. And I think the biggest thing is teaching these young guys that come in, take your time, and you share stories with them. A guy like a Calvin Austin that had to pay their dues. You share with them a guy like Mac Jones, who was the backup, who came in, so no one gave him a chance, and then his senior year, they go out and have a great senior year and then end up being a first-round pick. So we talk to them about learning the offense first and foremost, make sure they're handling their academics. When the time comes to step on the field, you got to be ready to do so.
When you're talking about a guy with all that talent, what are the things you're really trying to teach him the most? Where's he got to get better?
Well, obviously, let's start with the clear ball security, right? He's had some struggles owning the football and the fumbles, and that's why when we asked, in the TV show a few weeks ago, was his confidence, and you want to keep his confidence. You want to be able to continue to hand him the football in the game because he's so capable, and so ball security, and then continue to understand protections. I think for any young running back, understanding the protection schemes, right? The offensive line, who are they tagging? Where are they working to? Who's the quarterback going to be hot off of? And then have that understanding the full protection schemes. And then once you get that in, then you start to understand football altogether.
You look in his eyes and say, it needs you to hold on to the football. How does he handle that?
He takes coaching. I think you find that fine balance. Some guys take hard coaching, and that's the way they were brought up. And some guys take more of a demeanor of teaching and explaining. So I think I try to find that right combination. And there's some guys that, man, they want that foot up the rear, and they respond a little bit better. And other guys would like to sit down and talk to them and explain it. And again, every single one of our guys is different, but Brandon's been phenomenal. He's a coach me, coach attitude, and he's going to continue to progress.
So he likes to foot up?
Yeah, I don't know if you ask him that, but we've tried a little bit of everything with him, but he's been phenomenal, and we like the way he continues to work.
Time to give the legs some rest, give these coaches some rest. How the Tigers spend their bye week coming up next.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone. Let's take a look at the AutoZone road ahead.
So, Coach, what are you going to do with your open week?
Like everything, we're going to continue to self-scout, see where we need to improve. We'll still practice. We'll obviously be limited in our days. We'll give the guys a few times off. And then as coaches, we also got to hit the road recruiting so we can find more future Tigers.
How do you make yourself, though, take a little time to just rest and reflect?
One of the things I've done is, when we hit the road recruiting, after these games, with them not being a high school game, maybe during the week, I'll try to get back to the hotel a decent hour, do a little bit of work, but then try to shut my mind off by 8 o'clock, be in bed by 9. Knowing me, I'll wake up bright and early, but I think that's part of it, and just trying to clear your mind.
And then for players, this is about cerebrally getting better too, isn't it?
We want to take it a little bit off their legs. We don't want to work them, as physically, but just make sure that they're continuing to understand how can we progress. And I challenge them every single day. Are we doing the things necessary to improve? And I think that we got to look back and let's watch some of ourselves. It's easier because so often a quick recap of the previous game, let's move on. Now we got a chance to reflect on the entire season as we progress towards SMU and figure out what directions, what steps we need to take.
That was tonight's AutoZone Road Ahead. AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination and official sponsor of Tiger Athletics. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hopefully that week off will mend some ailing bodies. Stick around, we'll put a bow on this in just a minute.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
Thanks so much for watching. Next week, we'll reevaluate how has the season gone. See you next Sunday.
The Ryan Silverfield Show is presented by AutoZone. Next time you need a car battery, just pick it up. Visit AutoZone.com and select same-day store pickup. Just one reason why AutoZone is America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And by Conway Services, official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Chick-fil-A, we didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. R.J. Young, technology solutions that power your business. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the University of Memphis Sports Network. This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Memphis. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the University of Memphis and Learfield.